So let's talk about amenorrhea from a metaphysical lens. Have you ever heard of the one dot period? So this terminology is something extremely antiquated. And I say extremely antiquated because it supersedes ancient Kemet, aka what people refer to as Egypt. When you go back before the hands of time, we are getting into prehistoric times. What I'd like to call herstory would be Neolithic and Paleolithic time periods. Now, in today's time, the modern woman, she can bleed up to 3+ days. And that is typically medically what is considered to be normal. Even they said 7. So that's wild. At this junction, past 3, a lot of times would be considered hemorrhaging, and that's if you ask a naturopath, a herbalist. And here's a gag: mainstream science hates women. They hate women because most of the studies on the human body has been on white males. Besides the melanin conventions that are typically had every year, where few to any black nations are invited to. That has been a thing for decades. So when we think about these time periods were considered to be the golden ages because there was so much peace on the planet. And I say peace on the planet because the average woman in those times, women got down with other women. There are literally cave drawings and figurines to represent this, and I'll share that in another video. I love that. But back to the golden ages. Golden ages because it was the most peaceful time on the planet. And why was it peaceful? It was peaceful because there was no killing. If you look at the 42 laws of Ma'at, there was no killing. There was babies for sure. The 42 laws of Ma'at had to come from somewhere more ancient than it. It wasn't until man got on the scene that they started building actual buildings, because women had mounds that they were living out of that were a representation of their beehive, their honey pot, their yoni spot. So this golden age was so wonderful because women didn't have the environmental stressors of today. When we think about food that is horrendous, when we think about EMFs that fluctuate and mess up our hormones, when we think about a medical system that doesn't really even support us, or society doesn't even support us and teach us to just be nurturers and stay in one specific identity, when we are multidimensional. We were the original blueprint of multidimensional, and science don't study us because we're too complex. We're not linear, we're cyclical. So that dot of blood back in those times was life force energy, was the offering, the blood offerings that, get oversaturated in modern day times as something evil, but it wasn't. So that one dot was the blood offering. It is in reference to cultures like the Indus Valley, Yoruba traditions, Kemet, ancient Lemuria, Mu, all of that. It was all of that. It was the cosmic renewal of life force energy. It was the seed of life. Women did not need to shed profusely because her emotional, energetic body, i.e., her chakras, was not congested.